This video demonstrates making a calendar to observe the new year. So just to show you, here are two. This one says this year, and as you can see it contains pages inside with the calendar in it. And here's another one, the same idea, just a little different design. So I'm going to show you how to make these, and it uses this kit. This is by Maya Road. It contains 8 pages that are 6 by 6 inches. The first step is to do some painting using craft paint. I'm going to paint mine white or cream, but of course that would depend on what color paper you're going to use afterwards. So you take it apart. This is a ring binder, so you remove your pages and you paint the front and this side and the back and that side. And around the pages you don't need to paint the whole page, but if you'll paint around the edges so there's a border around the edges. And of course you remove them to do that. Okay, so that's the first step. While your paint is drying, you might get your calendar pages ready. What I've done, I've printed out the calendar from a template I found on the internet, printed it out with my computer, and I'm using 6 different colors of cardstock. So there's 2 calendar pages per each piece of cardstock. And I've also written at the bottom of each piece of cardstock, I have printed out the name of 2 months. So I'm going to cut these out and they'll become tags for the months. So obviously each paper has 2 different months on it. And something else I've done here, I've put the birthstone and the flower for each month on my cardstock, just as something to make it a little special. If you didn't want to print, I think another good alternative would be to find a calendar and remove the pages from it and use that. Now the calendar pages are ready, so the next step is going to be to create a template for punching your holes in your pages. So you've painted your calendar pages around the edges. The next thing you do is cut a piece of ordinary paper 6 inches long, and it really doesn't matter how far down it goes because it's just a template, but you cut that out of any paper at all and then place it over, and then you can go inside with a pen and draw the circles. So now you have a template. As you can see, you have your marks where you will punch the holes when you go to make your other papers, and you could do that using a punch like this or using any other punch that you wanted. Okay, now your next move is to cut 16 squares of scrapbook paper to cover your 8 pages. So that's 6 by 6, and along one side of each you will punch holes using your template and your hole puncher. Now this is the time, before you begin punching and cutting, you need to decide how you want to design your scrapbook in terms of layout and your calendar in terms of layout and colors. Remember, there will be 2 pages facing each other, so you'll need to decide how you want the papers to line up and what you want to be on each side of the layout, and also think in terms of colors that are going to work with the cardstock calendars that you've cut out. So that's your next step. Get that sorted out, cut and punch. When you have your papers cut out, glue them to your pages. I haven't glued the back yet, but glue them to your pages according to whatever system you've decided to use. And I'm using zip dry paper glue, which works quite well for this project. When you have your papers glued on, just with your scissors go around the edges and trim. These little pages have rounded edges, so just trim that with your scissors, and do that for all 16. Remember that there are 16 surfaces in only 12 months, so there are going to be some empty pages that you can still put your paper over, but they'll be used for photographs or whatever else you want to put on them for decoration. When you have your scrapbook paper glued in place, the next step is to cut out your calendar and your calendar label and glue that in place as well. Now, if you want to put any embellishments up on top, you'll want to put your calendar fairly low down on the page. But if you don't want any embellishments up there, then you would center it instead. And if you'll recall, there are 4 pages that will not have a calendar on them. The ones that I've left blank are beside February, May, March, and November, but that would be your call which ones you're going to leave blank. Now that you've glued your calendar pages and the labels to the clipboard squares, the next step is to cover the front and back of the book's cover. To do that, I cut 2 squares of scrapbook paper. They are 5 3/4 inches because I want to leave a white border. So you cut that and glue it down on both sides, so your book now will close like that. Your next step will be to decide how you're going to fill these 6 empty surfaces that remain. That's the 2 inside covers. Now I've glued the same paper on them that I have on the outside. So there are these 2 surfaces, and there are also 4 empty surfaces that face the scrapbook pages. I plan on using photographs on all 6. I've printed these out from the computer. So that will be your next step, to go ahead and fill those 6 surfaces any way you like. My theme for this particular calendar is Things to Appreciate in 2009. So now I have added the pictures. I haven't done the trim yet, but I have my pictures and my calendar more or less assembled. And the next thing that I'm going to do is do some trim on the front. I want to write this year around like that in a circle. So to do that, I've cut a circle using a juice glass to trace it. And I'm going to use these rub-on alphabets and put this year around like that. So this is the completed book. I've attached a flower here, and inside, here's the first page. I've put a little ribbon up here that says happiness for January. For February, photograph on this page with an embellishment. A ribbon up here reading enjoy. On this page, a felt flower, that's February. For March, along here I have a row of rhinestones and one little rhinestone down here. These are the outline stickers. I have some musical symbols for April. For May, a photograph on this page and a couple of brads. Over here, the word friends in copper, and outline stickers that I've colored with gel pen for the butterfly. That's May. So for June, up here, the outline sticker of a rose colored. For July, a bird, slightly colored at the wings. August, a picture and some brads. Over here, decorative felt flower. September and October, up here an outline sticker of a cat and another felt flower. November, a picture of the eagle, felt flower. A ribbon that says delight, success, written in copper. Some rhinestones. And November, a bead, a trinket, the word laughter, and over here a picture of a raccoon and a flower made with punch art. So that is the calendar. If you've liked this, I invite you to visit my blog at scrappingbydesign.com.